Hey everybody, it's your old pal. That's right, SimplySuperDave, coming at you with another episode of Staying Super. Oh, I don't know, I think we're up to episode 120 something, maybe almost 130, somewhere in that little, 5 area range, 125 to 130. And if you're listening to this, I really do appreciate it. This is the first time you've listened to the podcast. I do encourage you to start from the beginning. There's not going to be a whole lot more added on. Like, I got a lot out of me in those 100 plus episodes, and I don't like to repeat myself a whole lot. So they are topical where they do and hopefully are still relevant today. I do bring up current events and topics, but any lesson from a history book is a good lesson to be taught for the future, right? So when we live in moments that become the past and their current past memories, I still like to use them as examples of maybe what to do or maybe what not to do. And that's kind of what the podcast is about. It's trying to find your center of gravity among all the demons that are swimming around in your head, or all the angels, whichever person that you might just be, or you just might be like everybody and have a little mixture of both there running around. Makes more sense. But some people tend to think that they're one way or the other, and that's kind of sad, because that's the same thing with politics. Everybody just seems to think they have to be a Republican or a Democrat. That's just the way it is. No, there's other paths. You just choose not to make your own. You just decide to stick with the flow and go with the juice, and keeps pumping the same beast. And I love hearing songs like by Mr. Oliver Anthony from Virginia, with a great song called Richmond, North of Richmond. And it's a very powerful song. I think it's number one on the iTunes, I think on Billboard, even number one on the charts. And number two even belongs to him. And he's got 9 songs in the top 30 on iTunes. Oliver Anthony. I deeply recommend that you listen to the song Richmond, North of Richmond. And really, if you don't feel that song, then you might be the problem. And that's all I gotta say. It's a great song where I've seen a lot of people of different nationalities and different backgrounds and ethnicities to really embrace the song and push this guy independently without any contract, no record play, no anything. Just bluegrass, grow overnight success. And I love his attitude about it. He's turning down offers and he wants to do it his way, and he's gonna take it slow like a good old country boy would. He plays a banjo. He's got 2 dogs laying out next to him while he's playing the song like they're used to it. They know what this guy's doing. This is what we do every night, is play songs out here in the woods and make a lot of sense and touch a lot of Americans deep down in their hearts. So I definitely recommend that song. And check out the variants on different social platforms. See how that it's touching different people and that they're intermixing their voices with his. But the original iconic song, that's all I gotta say. It's a very iconic song, and I love it, and I really recommend y'all listen to it, and then listen to the podcast all over again and from that perspective, and then you'll probably get a little bit more of what I'm talking about. But a lot of you loyal people that are here so far, that is exactly how you feel, and that is exactly the things that you like to talk about because they mean something. Maybe philosophical, maybe it's the bigger picture down the road sometimes, but we tend to always bring in to our bubble. That's right, the bubble. You always got to remember, I got Dave's bubble to take care of, just like everybody else has their own bubble to take care of. And then you find your little cluster bubbles that you like to bubble up with, and build bigger bubbles and for little bubbles to all live in and stuff like that. Or you could just be an independent floater bubble, just running around with a couple little 3 bubbles on you. I'm getting tongue-tied with my bubble talk. And but you control your bubble. You control what's inside of your bubble. You can push things out. You can bring things in. It's all up to you. Your problems, your successes, your failures, your victories, all of them, based on your decisions, whether to push towards them or away from them. Out of fear, maybe, out of I don't know what I want. That's a lot of things out there. And not just knowing more than one other way. A lot of people are pushed in a certain direction. They're pushed to believe the narrative. They believe that anything that is on TV must be true. And it's not. And what I loved about the internet age, if you lived through it, and I'm talking about was able to access it from conception all the way to where it is now, then you understand that a period in time, the internet did contain a lot of truth and knowledge and facts and things that you would instantly go for right off the bat. And as the internet caught fire and encircled the entire planet with its solid connection and solidarity, forcing humans into a digital age that they weren't even ready for, but whoever is, right? So anyway, now we're into a point where we are now living lives that copy from something that's happening in our minds. And I mean that. When you go on Facebook and you read a post, you're like, oh, I know what that person's talking about, or they're talking shit about me, whatever, positive or negative, whatever it is. Now, the energy that it makes you feel, that's a connection. It's not an instant physical connection. It's just like in everything else that's digital. It's synthetic. It's something that you made up on your own. And believe it or not, these are the same things that happen when you're actually there, except it could be more enhanced. Okay, so you're getting kind of a copy of what the real feeling might be like in a digital world when you get angry or upset or you're very supportive or you just don't want to ever see that shit again. Whatever it is, life is, you can choose and pick what you want in it. Because what has happened was once it caught fire, instead of having factual go-to information for everybody, it became a flood market of any kind of information for everybody. And when you got any kind of information for anybody, then you have information that is not true or not factual or just fantasy, makeup, purposely to con people. Whatever it is, it's all out there. And it's up to you to decipher through all of it, to stay super and stay on the right path and figure out exactly what you can do to use this as a tool to make you further succeed instead of getting caught up in the web of the internet. The mark of the beast, as I've called it, and like I said, you have to check out that episode. It's one of the first 20, I know, but think about it. It's a mark that you want, right? The devil wouldn't offer you anything that you would run from. He would offer you something that is fully temptational that you can't resist. And if the internet hasn't provided that lust for knowledge, because it is the little apple of knowledge, it is our apple that we should not eat from to know everything that God knows. We are crossing that boundary. We already have. If you've accepted the internet in your life, or if you're a frequent surfer on there, then surely you have accepted the mark. Now, like I've also stated before, I wouldn't be on here using it if I didn't either, right? So don't think I'm calling you something or anything or blaming you. It's just how I feel, because I fully have accepted that I'm obviously carrying the mark. Not that I believe in it, but I want to use it as a tool to remind people that it is just that, a tool. It shouldn't take over life. It shouldn't replace what humans do. Well, maybe it should, but a lot of you closed-minded people that just start to wake up go through these flood of emotions where you're very supportive one week and 2 weeks later you're very supportive for something else. And there's a lot of people on this planet. We just crossed the 8 billion mark, I believe, which is insane. A lot of people on one rock, right? 8 billion. That's a lot. It's grown. I think it was 7.4 when Jerry Maguire came out in 1996. So there you go. There's a good measurement for you. It bumped up half a billion in less than 20 years. That's amazing. For people that are very so safe, and I don't know, there's a lot of sex going on, obviously. There's a lot of people being produced. Either way, It's just science. Everything increases. As something keeps going on and gets bigger, then obviously numbers will always be bigger from year to year. It's not a shocker. What is a shocker is this. The other day, well, yesterday actually, the temperature in our city and area was broken. The record for the highest temperature, that is. And that was 106 degrees, I believe, or 104. And yesterday we reached 106. And it was broken by a record set in 1881. All right. I'm just going to make a very logical point right now that when people ever tell you that it's never been this hot before, just point out in 1881 is when the record was set that we just now broke. So yes, it is getting hotter, but not by much. And if it takes 142 years for it to be the same as it was then, I'm pretty sure in 142 years from now it's going to be like, 107 today instead of 106. I believe in climate change only because the planet does that. I don't believe in the political climate change where they want to blame you for that and make you pay for something that you have no control over. And not only that, but this planet is a recycling machine. It could easily devour everything that we have ever produced on this planet easily and still be here 1,000,000 years from now. Human history's time is on a ticker, but the Earth will be here for many, 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 many millennia, no matter what happens. So just remember, folks, don't take life so damn serious. It's all made up. It's all been force-fed to you through public schools and your parents and what they were taught by their grandparents and the strict morality that has been slowly corroded away. Now, there is a good thing about that and a bad thing about that. At some point, too much morality is what you fight. But there is morality that you have to have. Without morality in life, there just seems to be no purpose, right? I mean, it could be just an evil all-out war, world of war and shit, but there seems to be a lot of us out there that would just rather just exist and go about doing something they want to do on a daily basis, and maybe go fishing every afternoon and go sleep in a tent down by the river. But here we are where we are now, and we're overtaxed, overregulated, and not by politicians. See, this is where the corporate part of all the topics I've mentioned in the past comes back in. Actually, the very first episode was about corporate greed and how it affects you. And here we are, 120 plus episodes, and did I not tell you so? Did I not say the things I said then would happen? And that is, prices would go up. Things would get to the point where it's going to get... It's got to either stop or reverse or something, because if it continues, there's going to be a breaking point within the country. And I think that's what they're... I don't know. I don't really know what the fuck. I really don't. It mind boggles me when you let power become so overwhelming that you overlook the very core values that the country was built on, and you're the leaders that were elected by their constituents, but yet you don't listen to any of them. Now, don't get me wrong, there are a few elected officials out there that I do like and I respect a lot. Jeff Johnson, I think, or Jeff Jackson. God, I can't remember those names. Jeff Johnson, I think, from the movie Distinguished Gentleman. But I think it's Jeff Jackson, if I'm not mistaken. I like him. But it's corporate rules and regulations through your jobs that they make you do things that you wouldn't want to do because you don't want to lose your job. And that's not done by the government. That's done by corporate media. The same corporate media that controls what the politicians vote for. Whoever has the most paycheck, that's the way it's going to go. And it affects everybody because they don't look at small business. Small business just doesn't exist in this country anymore. Never hear the term being brought up anymore. It's just like they just pushed it off the table. Everything's corporate owned. Even if you have it's a franchise. You're still owned by a major corporation. There's a lot of franchise owners out there. but they're not owners. That's how it is. All that, I just hate thinking about it sometimes. It makes me a little angry. But Oliver Anthony nailed it hard when he talks about the song. In the song, Richmond, north of Richmond. Which, by the way, folks, if you didn't get it, that's Washington, D.C. So check out Oliver Anthony on whatever music platform you listen to. Look him up on any platform that you listen to. Show him some support. He's independent. Very wise-spoken man. And like I said, if once you hear the song, you don't love it, I can't help you. I don't even know why you're listening. But then again, maybe there's something silly about me you might like. Either way, folks, just a quick thought from me from the Dave Cave, chilling out, waiting, and I had a little spare time, so I thought I would drop one for you. I hope everybody has a fantastic rest of the week. This is a Tuesday, by the way. We're at the last week of August, heading into September of 2023, just for a time reference for anything there. But I hope everybody uses that love and laughter to conquer that hate and fear that comes into their life. Because remember, folks, if you don't deal with it, it ain't going nowhere. Don't think anything just fades away. Once you come to a screeching halt in your life, a lot of shit from behind you comes slamming to the back of your head. And you remember it quite quick, and then you get overwhelmed. Pick it up piece by piece. Don't let it overwhelm you. Take control of your life. And remember, sometimes when you get an opportunity to just show some support for what this country truly believes in, then I suggest listening to Mr. Oliver Anthony. He about says it all, folks. I really think that is going to be an iconic song. And if you need to listen to it, you have to. It's better than the Star Spangled Banner, in my opinion, at this point. That song had its relevance from the time when it was written, but here we needed our own anthem. And I think today it was written. Mr. Oliver Anthony, thank you so much for inspiring me to want to talk. Been finding the topic hard to talk about, but I've been proud enough to even talk about you at every person I get an opportunity to. Hope your success continues to grow and you take it slow. Just like you said, don't back down. Remember, you hold all the cards. Just like the rest of you. Control your bubble. Don't let people force you. Don't let money tempt you. Do what you feel is right, and I promise you in the end, you'll sleep better at night. Much love from your boy, Simply Super Dave. Until the next one drops, have a good one.